The gym smelled like sweat, old leather, and the faint scent of disinfectant the janitor used every night. It was late, past 9, and most of the evening crowd had gone home. Only a few people remained, scattered around the punching bags and mats. Among them was Marcus Hale, the local golden boy of the academy. 26 years old, a black belt in taekwondo and kickboxing, nationally ranked, cocky as hell, and fully aware of it. He stood in the center of the mat, surrounded by a few trainees who admired him like he was a celebrity. Marcus loved that attention. He lived for it. Every laugh, every whisper, every look of awe fed him. And tonight, he wanted more of it. That was when he noticed the janitor sweeping the far corner of the gym. The man was quiet, always quiet, barely spoke unless spoken to. Mid-40s, dark skin, short haircut, slim but solid build. People knew his name, Darius, but no one really knew him. He came in, cleaned the place, left. Never trained, never talked, never bothered anyone. And for some reason, that annoyed Marcus tonight. Maybe it was boredom, maybe ego, maybe the fact that the trainees around him were too inexperienced to push him. Whatever the reason, Marcus's eyes locked onto Darius like a predator spotting something to toy with. Here's where you tell viewers. If you're listening to this story right now, make sure you like, share, and subscribe because what's about to happen next will completely shock you. Marcus smirked and stepped off the mat, walking straight toward the janitor. "Hey," he called out. "Hey, old man." Darius stopped sweeping but didn't look up. "Evening," he said flatly. Marcus tilted his head. "You're here every night watching us. You ever train? Or you just like staring?" A few trainees snickered behind him. Darius kept his eyes on the floor. "Just doing my job." Marcus circled him like a shark. "Come on, man. All that sweeping, your back must be tight. You should loosen up. Spar a little. Just for fun." Darius didn't react. Not even a smile. Marcus's smirk widened. "Unless you're scared." That made the room go silent. Every remaining pair of eyes turned their way. Darius finally lifted his head, looking Marcus dead in the eyes. There was no fear there, no anger. Just calm. A calm that irritated Marcus even more. "I'm working," Darius replied. "I'm not here to spar with you." Come on," Marcus pressed. 5 minutes. Light. I'll even go easy on you." Someone in the back whispered. He'd break him in two. Marcus heard it, which only boosted his ego. He moved closer, close enough that Darius could feel his breath. "What's wrong? Don't want the kids to see you get knocked out? Don't want them knowing the janitor's made of paper?" Darius exhaled slowly. "I don't want trouble." But Marcus wanted it. Needed it. "Guys," he said loudly, raising his arms. "Let's help the man feel included. He's part of the gym family, right? Let's give him a warm welcome." Now everyone was watching. Phones started lifting. The trainees were excited, too excited. Marcus loved it. Darius looked around, saw the cameras, the expectant faces, the mocking smiles. He'd been ignored for months, invisible, but now everyone wanted something from him. He set the broom aside. "Fine," he said quietly. 5 minutes. The room buzzed like an audience before a show. Marcus clapped his hands. "Attaboy." He jogged back to the mat with swagger dripping from every step. Darius walked slowly, removing only his work jacket. Underneath was a simple gray shirt, slightly worn but clean. He didn't stretch, didn't crack his neck, didn't warm up. He simply stepped onto the mat and stood there with his hands relaxed at his sides. Marcus bounced lightly on his toes. "You sure you're ready?" Darius nodded once. "Are you?" Some of the trainees oohed at that, and Marcus's jaw tightened for a second before he forced a smile. Cute. The coach wasn't in the room tonight, so no one stopped what was about to happen. Marcus slid into his stance, sharp and polished. Darius didn't adopt any recognizable stance, just stood still, posture loose, eyes half-lidded. Marcus noticed. "You don't even know how to stand properly," he said. "This won't take long." He lunged forward with a testing jab, not full power, but enough to sting. The punch never landed. Darius wasn't there anymore. He hadn't stepped back. He hadn't blocked. He hadn't parried. Somehow, he had simply moved an inch to the side with a speed so subtle most people missed it. Marcus blinked. "What?" He tried again. Jab. Jab cross. Darius slid away from each strike like he knew them before they were thrown. No wasted movement. No flash. No aggression. Just precision. The trainees murmured. Marcus felt irritation bubbling beneath his skin. He stepped in with a quick hook aimed at Darius's ribs. Darius caught it, not with strength, but with timing so perfect that
Darius's
Marcus's
hand barely
entire
wrapped
arm
around
froze.
Marcus's
wrist, yet Marcus couldn't pull free. Darius looked into his eyes. Calm, steady, unbothered. Marcus yanked harder. Nothing. He raised his other hand to throw a counterstrike. Suddenly Darius released the wrist, stepped forward, and placed his palm on Marcus's chest. A simple push. Not hard, not violent, not even fast. But Marcus stumbled back like someone had pulled the ground from under him. He regained his balance, cheeks burning as the trainees whispered louder. Lucky move, he spat. Darius didn't respond. Marcus rushed him this time, unleashing a combination of kicks and punches. Beautiful technique. Powerful strikes. Speed that impressed even professionals. But Darius was water. Every hit missed by a centimeter. Every kick cut empty air. Every attempt to grab him ended with Marcus holding nothing. And the worst part? Darius was still breathing normally. Marcus, on the other hand, was heating up, sweating, face reddening. He swung a high kick. Darius ducked. He launched a spinning back kick. Darius stepped aside like he was moving around a puddle. Phones lifted higher. Even the people who usually worshipped Marcus now stared at Darius like he was something unreal. Marcus felt humiliated. No, exposed. He snarled and launched a desperate sweep kick. Darius didn't dodge. He stepped into the motion, tapped Marcus's ankle lightly with his foot, and somehow Marcus collapsed sideways like a sack of flour. The gym erupted. Someone laughed too loud. Someone whispered, "What the hell is he?" Marcus scrambled up, furious. He rushed again, throwing elbows and knee strikes, techniques he'd only use in real fights, not friendly spars. "Marcus, chill," someone yelled. He didn't listen. Darius finally raised his hands, not in a defensive stance, but in a gesture of disappointment. Marcus attacked with a wild hook, full power. Darius stepped inside the arc of the punch, placed 2 fingers at Marcus's elbow, redirected it gently, and the punch missed completely. Marcus's momentum carried him forward, straight into Darius's shoulder. It wasn't even a strike, just positioning. But Marcus collapsed again, gasping. The room went silent. Darius didn't follow up, didn't gloat, didn't even look proud. He simply stood there, breathing calmly. Marcus pushed himself up slowly, chest heaving, arms trembling. Who are you?" he growled. Darius picked up his jacket. "Someone who told you he didn't want trouble." Marcus forced a laugh, but it cracked. His pride was bleeding. "We're not done," he muttered. But even he knew the truth. He was outclassed. He stepped forward again, slower this time, hesitant. And then something happened that froze the entire room. Darius's eyes narrowed, not at Marcus, but at the mirror behind him. He whispered, "Move." Marcus frowned. "What? Move?" Darius grabbed Marcus's shoulder and shoved him aside just as, smash. A weight plate fell from a rack behind Marcus and shattered the mirror in a burst of exploding glass. Had Marcus been standing there half a second longer, it would have crushed his skull. The room gasped. Marcus stumbled, staring at the destruction, chest pounding, sweat dripping down his forehead. He turned slowly toward Darius, realization dawning in his eyes. Darius hadn't been fighting him. He had been reading him, reading the room, reading everything. And he had saved his life. Marcus stared at the shattered mirror, the twisted weight plate lying among the shards, and a cold shiver crawled up his spine. A second earlier he had been ready to lunge at Darius again, pride driving him like a blindfolded bull. But now all of that melted into something else. Confusion, shock, a fear he didn't want to admit, even to himself. Darius stood still, calm as ever, not boasting about saving him, not waiting for applause, not even reacting to the chaos he had just prevented. He simply turned away and picked up his jacket again, as if the situation were nothing more than another chore. Marcus's voice cracked as he spoke. You knew that was going to fall." Darius didn't answer. Instead, he gave a small nod to the stunned trainees. "Someone should call the owner. That rack's been unstable for weeks." One trainee stammered, "We didn't know." "I did," Darius replied softly. "I tighten it every night. Tonight, I noticed the screw slipping more than usual." Marcus swallowed, his pulse still thundering through his veins. "So you shoved me because you were watching the mirror?" "I watch everything," Darius said. His tone wasn't proud, just factual, like someone stating their height. He stepped off the mat. Marcus followed him without even thinking, something inside him pulling him toward answers he wasn't sure he wanted. "Wait," Marcus blurted, grabbing Darius's arm. For the first time, Darius turned with an expression sharper than anything Marcus had seen before. Not angry, not annoyed. Sorry, he muttered. How did you do all that? The moving, the dodging, the whatever that was. Darius sighed. You were swinging too wildly. You could have hurt someone. Marcus scoffed. I wasn't going to hurt anyone. You already were, Darius replied, looking past Marcus at the trainees, their frightened faces, their uncertainty. The moment you lost control, the moment your ego took over, you became a danger. The words hit Marcus harder than any punch. He clenched his jaw. I wasn't out of control. Darius raised a brow. Are you sure? Marcus wanted to argue, but the truth pressed against his ribs like a weight. He had lost control. He had gone too far, trying to prove something, trying to look invincible, trying to crush a man he assumed was beneath him. Marcus's shoulders slumped. But before he could speak again, the gym door swung open. The owner, Mr. Carver, stormed inside. A stocky, aging man with a graying beard and permanent stress lines. What the hell happened? I heard a crash from the parking lot. His eyes went to the shattered mirror, the weight plate, then to Marcus. Did you do this? No, Marcus said quickly, pointing. It fell on its own. Carver's face darkened. Don't lie. You're always roughhousing. He's telling the truth, Darius interrupted. Carver blinked. Darius rarely spoke to him unless necessary. The rack's been unstable. I tightened it every night. Tonight it finally slipped. Carver frowned. Why didn't you tell me? I did, Darius replied quietly. 3 times. The silence that followed was thick and suffocating. Carver's face went pale, and he rubbed his forehead. Damn it. I'm sorry. I should have listened. Marcus watched this exchange with a strange twist in his stomach. Respect. The janitor, this quiet, overlooked man, wasn't just observant. He was responsible, trustworthy, someone who noticed what others ignored. And Marcus had challenged him like a fool. Carver exhaled. Everyone out. We're closing early tonight. I need to clean this up before someone cuts themselves. Instinctively, Darius walked toward the broom. Carver stopped him. No, not tonight. I'll handle this. Darius hesitated, almost confused. No one ever told him not to clean. Go home, Carver insisted. Please. Slowly, Darius nodded. He picked up his jacket and headed toward the back door, slipping out into the quiet hallway. Marcus watched him leave, torn between humiliation and curiosity. Something inside him whispered that the story wasn't over, that the man who just walked away carried a past deeper than anyone imagined. And Marcus needed to know what it was. He followed. The hallway was dim, lit only by flickering fluorescent lights. Darius walked with steady steps, his posture relaxed but alert, like someone who knew the world well enough not to trust it completely. Wait, Marcus said again, jogging up beside him. Can we talk? Darius didn't stop walking. About what? About earlier. There's nothing to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. You wanted to spar, Darius said. You got one. It's over. Marcus frowned. No, it's not over. You're not a janitor. Darius paused mid-step. Slowly, he looked at Marcus. There was no panic, no fear. Just tiredness. I am a janitor. No, Marcus insisted. A regular janitor doesn't move like that. Doesn't read punches like that. Doesn't predict a mirror falling without even looking at it. Darius held Marcus's stare for a long moment. Then he turned and kept walking. Go home. Teach me. Marcus suddenly blurted. Darius stopped again. This time, he turned fully. The hallway seemed to shrink around them. Teach you? Yes, Marcus said, standing straighter, breathing deeper. I want to learn whatever you know. Darius blinked slowly. No, you don't. I do. You don't know what you're asking for. Marcus stepped closer. So tell me, what am I asking for? Darius lowered his gaze, his jaw tightening. For the first time, Marcus sensed something in the man that had been hidden beneath the calm exterior. Not anger. Not fear. Pain. You're asking for something that cost me everything, Darius said quietly. Marcus felt his chest tighten. Then why are you a janitor? Darius's eyes lifted. They were darker than Marcus expected. He whispered, because it's the only job where no one asks questions. The weight of the words sank into Marcus like stones dropped into deep water. Before he could respond, heavy footsteps echoed behind them. Carver appeared at the end of the hallway. Marcus, he called. Let him go. Marcus turned. But, enough for tonight, Carver said firmly. Come help me move the mat so we can sweep the glass. Marcus looked back at Darius, but the man was already gone, slipping out the back door into the night. The next day, the gym buzzed like a hive. Everyone who had filmed the spar had posted it online, and by noon the video had spread through the local martial arts. Who was this janitor? Was the video fake? Was he a retired fighter? Was he a fraud? A prodigy? Someone joked that he was the Black John Wick. Marcus hated the comments, not because they praised Darius, but because they mocked Marcus. Black belt got schooled by a broomstick warrior. Bro trained his whole life just to get humbled by the janitor. Man's belt must be from Walmart. The bruising to his ego stung worse than any punch he'd ever taken. But beneath the embarrassment was something deeper. Hunger. He had seen real mastery, real control, real understanding. And he wanted it, needed it. So that evening, Marcus waited behind the gym. Darius always arrived early, before anyone else, to clean the floor before the morning crowd came in. Marcus leaned against the brick wall, arms crossed, watching the parking lot. At 5:12 a.m., a faded gray sedan pulled up. Darius stepped out, holding a thermos and a small bag. He froze when he saw Marcus. Marcus pushed off the wall. Morning. Darius sighed. Not this again. I'm not leaving, Marcus said. Not until you teach me. I told you no. I know, Marcus replied, stepping in front of him. But I'm going to be here every day until you say yes. Darius shook his head. You're stubborn. I get that a lot. It's not a compliment. Marcus chuckled despite himself. Teach me anyway. Darius looked tired, older than he had yesterday. Why do you want this? Because you're better than me, Marcus said honestly. And I want to understand how. Darius held his stare for a long time. Then he asked something Marcus didn't expect. What are you willing to lose? The question hit him like a cold wind. Lose. Mastery, Darius said quietly, requires sacrifice. Time. Pride. Parts of your life you won't get back. Once you start down that path, you don't get to choose who you become at the end. Marcus swallowed. I'm willing. No, Darius said. You think you're willing. Marcus stepped closer. Then test me. Darius didn't respond. He unlocked the gym door and walked inside. Marcus followed. Darius didn't tell him to leave. Didn't tell him to stay either. He simply set down his bag, sipped his thermos, and walked onto the mat. Marcus followed him like a shadow. Darius turned around. First lesson, he said. Marcus straightened. Yes. Darius suddenly slapped him across the face. Not hard, but quick, sharp, precise. Marcus staggered. What the hell? You reacted with anger, Darius said calmly. Wrong. You slapped me. And Marcus clenched his fists. That's the point, Darius said. You think fighting starts with fists. It doesn't. It starts with emotion. Control that, and the rest follows. Marcus breathed through his nose, chest heaving. Darius continued. Second lesson. Already. Yes. Darius stepped forward. Try to hit me. Marcus hesitated. Then he threw a quick jab, faster and cleaner than yesterday. Darius wasn't there. Marcus swung again. Missed again. Again. And again. He couldn't even graze him. How are you doing that? Marcus panted. By seeing you, Darius replied. Truly seeing you. Your posture. Your breath. The way your left foot lifts a fraction before you strike. Everything tells a story. Marcus frowned. You're saying I'm predictable? Everyone is predictable, Darius said. The only difference is whether they know it. Marcus swallowed. Teach me to see like that. Darius looked away. You don't want that burden. Yes, Marcus insisted. I do. Darius's voice softened. Seeing too much ruined my life. Marcus's heartbeat paused. What happened? Darius didn't answer. Instead, he said, third lesson. Marcus braced himself. What is it? Darius stepped close enough that Marcus felt his breath. Don't ask questions you're not ready to hear the answers to. Then Darius turned, picked up his cleaning supplies, and walked away. But Marcus knew one thing for certain. Darius had not told him to stop following. And that meant the lessons, no matter how painful or unlike anything Marcus had ever experienced. Training with Darius wasn't like training with the gym's instructors. It wasn't drills or sparring or conditioning. It was deeper, more uncomfortable, sometimes humiliating, always revealing. Darius never raised his voice, never bragged. He simply pushed Marcus into moments where his pride cracked and his flaws surfaced, forcing him to face parts of himself he'd buried behind trophies and belts. One morning, Darius made him stand completely still for an hour while he circled him in silence. Marcus's legs shook. Sweat dripped down his back. What's the point of this? He growled through clenched teeth. Stillness, Darius said quietly, walking behind him. If your mind cannot be still, your body never will be. On another day, Darius blindfolded Marcus and told him to walk across the mat. Easy, Marcus said. Seconds later, he tripped over a single mitt Darius had placed in the middle of the floor. You rely too much on sight, Darius said. Your other senses are weak. On another morning, Darius stood across from him and said, Hit me. Marcus hesitated. You know I can't. Then you've already lost, Darius replied. Hesitation is defeat wearing a polite mask. Every lesson carved deeper into Marcus's understanding, cutting away ego and replacing it with awareness. Still, Marcus knew he was only scratching the surface of whatever Darius carried inside him. Because sometimes, when Marcus arrived early enough, he would catch Darius staring at his own reflection in the mirror, not admiring himself, not training, just looking. And there was always something sad in that stare. A weight, a memory that haunted him like a ghost only he could see. Finally, after 2 weeks of unconventional lessons, Darius told Marcus to meet him behind the gym at sunset. Marcus arrived early, pacing, nervous and excited. Darius arrived precisely on time, carrying nothing but a rolled-up towel. Today, Darius said, you'll learn the truth. Marcus's heart pounded. About what? About why I stopped fighting, Darius said. And why you must never become who I used to be. Darius walked toward the back of the lot, where large dumpsters and crates created a secluded corner. Marcus followed, pulse racing. Darius stopped and leaned against a crate. Long before I was a janitor, he said, I was like you. Proud, skilled, hungry. I thought technique and talent made me untouchable. Marcus listened silently. I fought underground matches, Darius continued. Not tournaments. Not sanctioned bouts. Real fights. The kind where people didn't always walk away. Marcus blinked. He had expected something dramatic, but not this. I didn't do it for money, Darius said. I did it because I liked the feeling of being better than other men. Dominating them. Showing them I was above them. He looked at Marcus with eyes that held years of regret. Ego is a poison, Marcus. It makes you think the world owes you something. I drank that poison every day. Marcus swallowed. So what happened? Darius looked at his hands. Steady, still, capable of incredible things. I fought a man once. A good man. Someone who shouldn't have been in that ring. He took the fight to pay for his daughter's hospital bills. Marcus held his breath. I didn't know that, Darius said. Or maybe I didn't care. His voice tightened. I hit him too hard. Too many times. I tried to prove something. And I won. Marcus realized what was coming next. But he didn't get back up. The world around Marcus seemed to freeze. I killed him, Darius whispered. In front of a crowd that cheered like animals. Marcus stared at him, stomach twisting. I turned myself in. Served my time. Years of it. When I got out, I couldn't look at a ring without seeing him lying there. Couldn't throw a punch without feeling his blood on my hands. Darius breathed slowly, painfully. So I came here. To clean floors. To watch others train. To remind myself of what I lost. Marcus felt his throat tighten. He wanted to say something. But what words could possibly respond to a confession like that? Darius continued. I trained you because I saw the same hunger in you. The same pride. The same danger. And I wanted to stop another version of me before he destroyed his life. Marcus wasn't angry. He wasn't scared. He was humbled to his core. I'm not you, Marcus said softly. You could become me, Darius replied. Ego doesn't discriminate. It destroys anyone foolish enough to feed it. Marcus looked down. Then teach me how not to become you. Darius exhaled slowly, finally standing straight. That's the final lesson. And the hardest. What is it? Darius stepped in front of him, closer than ever. Walk away. Marcus's eyes widened. What? Walk away from the need to be better than others. Away from fighting for pride. If you want to truly master yourself, you must learn when not to fight. Marcus shook his head. No. I came here to learn from you. To train. Training isn't always teaching someone to hit harder, Darius said. Sometimes it's teaching them not to become a prisoner of their fists. Marcus felt frustration and disbelief surge through him. I can't just walk away. Not after everything. You can, Darius said. And you will. Because if you stay, if you chase power the way I did, you'll lose everything that matters. Your relationships. Your future. Yourself. Marcus clenched his jaw. But I want to be great. Then be different, Darius whispered. Be better than me by doing what I couldn't. Marcus looked into Darius's eyes and saw the truth. Years of pain, regret, and wisdom carved into a man who had walked through hell and back. Slowly, Marcus nodded. I understand. Darius placed a hand on his shoulder, steady, grounding, humble. Good. Then this is goodbye. Marcus's chest tightened. You're leaving? I have to, Darius said. People have seen the video. They're asking questions. The more attention I attract, the more likely someone recognizes my face. But you're a free man, Marcus argued. You didn't run. Doesn't matter, Darius said. His family still hates me, and they have every right to. If they come looking for me, I won't drag this gym into it. Marcus swallowed hard. Where will you go? Somewhere quiet, Darius said. Somewhere no one asks who I used to be. Marcus felt something break inside him. Will I ever see you again? Darius gave the faintest smile, small, sad, but real. Maybe, if life decides we cross paths again. Until then, he squeezed Marcus's shoulder. Remember what I taught you. All of it. Marcus nodded, fighting the tightness in his throat. Darius stepped back, turned, and walked away into the fading light, his silhouette shrinking as the sun dipped below the horizon. Marcus stood alone, watching him disappear, feeling both the weight of loss and the spark of change igniting inside him. In that moment, he understood the final lesson. Greatness wasn't measured by how many people you can beat, but by how many mistakes you refuse to repeat. Weeks passed. The gym slowly forgot the janitor who had moved like a shadow and left like a whisper. But Marcus didn't forget. He trained differently, slower, more thoughtful, more aware. He mentored younger trainees, helped repair equipment, listened more, talked less. And one evening, as he swept the floor after closing, a task no one asked him to do, he caught his reflection in the mirror. He saw someone new, someone calmer, someone wiser, someone Darius would be proud of. And for the first time in his life, Marcus felt truly strong, not because of his fists, but because of who he had become. The story that had begun with humiliation ended with something far greater, transformation. And somewhere far away, in a small quiet town, Darius sat alone on a park bench, sipping from his old thermos. He closed his eyes, breathed in the cool evening air, and allowed himself the smallest, rarest feeling he'd known in years. Peace.